In this video, we are going to go over factoring quadratics with other leading coefficients. In the previous video, we took care of the leading coefficient of 1, which we were allowed to use the shortcut on. If you think back to the lessons in class, this is the problems we started with, where we took our a times c and we had to go through the long process because the shortcuts did not work. So we want to first identify our a, b, and c. So a equals 2, b equals 19, and c equals 9. We then take our a times c, which is 2 times 9, to give us an 18. We then list our factors of 18, and we are trying to find the ones that add up to that b value. So my factors are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, and the 1 and 18 would add up to give me the 19 we were looking for. So we can rewrite this by replacing the middle term. So 2n squared, instead of plus 19n, we're going to rewrite that as a plus 1n and a plus 18n. And we still have that plus 9. We then can factor by grouping. So if we group the first two together, our GCF would be an n, which would leave us with a 2n plus 1. And if we factor out in the second group, our GCF is a positive 9, which leaves us with a 2n plus 1. If we did this correctly, those pieces inside the parentheses should be the same. They are. So we can copy that down, 2n plus 1. And what is left was those two outside pieces, the n plus the 9. And we just factored this quadratic. Let's look at another example. So here we have 4y squared minus 11y plus 6. So my a is 4, my b is negative 11, and my c is 6. A times c is 4 times 6, which is 24. So we now want the factors of 24 that add together to give us that negative 11. So I have a 1 and 24, or both negatives. We have a 2 and 12, or both negatives. We have a 3 and 8, or both negatives. And I'm going to stop right there because the negative 3 and the negative 8 give us a negative 11, which is what we were looking for. So we can replace that middle term. So we have a 4y squared instead of the minus 11y. I'm going to write the minus 8y and then a minus 3y and then the plus 6. We can now factor by grouping. So if we group the first two together, our GCF would be 4y. That's going to leave us with a y minus 2. And our second group, we can factor out a negative 3. And that's going to leave us with a y minus 2. They should have been the same. They are, so y minus 2 and 4y minus 3 is our factored answer. So hopefully this quick review was enough to refresh your memory on how to factor when the coefficient is not 1. Hopefully this helped.